So, Donald Trump just unveiled a secret enemies list containing the names of dozens of FBI agents he's planning to target for what he's calling retribution. And what triggered this revelation? A leaked internal document from Mar-a-Lago that Trump's own advisors are now scrambling to contain. The list doesn't just name these agents. It details specific punishments Trump wants implemented, including criminal prosecutions, security clearance revocations, and what sources describe as financial ruin strategies. This isn't just another campaign promise or rhetorical threat. We're talking about a sitting presidential candidate maintaining an actual hit list of federal law enforcement officers who investigated him. And trust me, when you've got Trump's own legal team trying to distance themselves from this document while MAGA influencers are celebrating it as justified payback, you know we've crossed into genuinely dangerous territory. It's honestly hard to believe we're watching a major party presidential candidate openly planning to weaponize the justice system against individual federal agents for doing their jobs. Let me fill you in on what's been happening. Trump's relationship with the FBI has been toxic since the Russia investigation began back in 2016. He's called them corrupt, part of the deep state, and accused them of plotting against him for years. The tension escalated dramatically after the August 2022 search of Mar-a-Lago when FBI agents executed a warrant to recover classified documents. Trump and his allies portrayed that search as a raid, claimed agents were prepared to assassinate him, and turned the FBI into public enemy number one for the MAGA base. Since then, Trump has repeatedly promised that if he wins in 2024, there will be consequences for those who investigated him. He's used terms like retribution, payback, and justice in rallies and interviews. His supporters cheered these promises, interpreting them as Trump finally fighting back against what they see as a weaponized justice system. According to Politico's December 8th report, Trump has been working with a small circle of advisors at Mar-a-Lago to identify specific individuals involved in various investigations. This wasn't just vague talk about reforming the FBI. This was detailed planning about individual careers and lives. But here's where the rubber meets the road. Someone inside Trump's inner circle leaked an internal document to the Washington Post that revealed the existence of what can only be described as an enemies list. The document contained approximately 47 names of FBI agents, federal prosecutors, and Justice Department officials. Next to many names were handwritten notes detailing proposed actions against them. And before we go any further, let's be real for a second. Maintaining lists of government employees you plan to punish for doing their jobs isn't normal political discourse. It's the kind of thing we associate with authoritarian regimes, not American democracy. Here's where it gets interesting. According to multiple sources who spoke to CNN and the Washington Post, the leaked document appears to be a working draft that Trump and his advisors have been updating for months. CBS News obtained portions of the document and reported that it's organized by investigation, with separate sections for the Mar-a-Lago case, the January 6th investigation, the Russia probe, and what Trump calls the 51 intelligence officials who signed the Hunter Biden laptop letter. The names include FBI agents who executed the Mar-a-Lago search warrant, agents who interviewed witnesses in the classified documents case, prosecutors who worked on Jack Smith's team, and even some FBI officials who have since retired. Next to each name are coded notations. According to reporters who reviewed the document, the codes appear to indicate priority level and type of action planned. Some entries include phrases like revoke all clearances, criminal referral warranted, and financial pressure points. The Washington Post reported that one entry next to a senior FBI agent's name simply read, "Make an example." According to sources familiar with Trump's discussions about the list, he's been obsessing over it during private dinners at Mar-a-Lago. Trump reportedly pulls out printed versions, adds notes in marker, and discusses specific individuals by name. He's told confidants that these people destroyed lives, ruined careers, and tried to put him in prison, so they deserve the same treatment. The bombshell came when one of the sources with access to these documents apparently decided this had gone too far and leaked it to the press. Within hours of the Washington Post story publishing, the story exploded across all media. This wasn't speculation about what Trump might do. This was documentation of active planning to systematically target federal law enforcement. This testimony sent shockwaves through the FBI and Justice Department because it transforms Trump's rhetoric into tangible threats. Current FBI agents who see their names or their colleagues' names on such a list now have to consider what happens if Trump wins. Do they stay and face potential prosecution? Do they resign and lose their careers? Do they speak out and become even bigger targets? Legal experts noted that the very existence of such a list could constitute witness intimidation even before Trump takes office. If agents know they're on a revenge list, that could affect their willingness to participate in ongoing investigations or future cases involving Trump allies. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen Trump maintain enemies lists or promise retribution against those who opposed him. Just think about how Trump turned on anyone from his own administration who testified truthfully during the January 6th hearings. Cassidy Hutchinson, a young aide who worked in the Trump White House, provided damning testimony about Trump's actions on January 6th. Within hours, Trump and his allies launched a coordinated campaign to destroy her credibility and her career. She received death threats, lost job opportunities, and required security protection. Her crime was telling the truth under oath. Then there was Alexander Vindman, the Army lieutenant colonel who testified during Trump's first impeachment. Vindman followed proper channels to report concerns about Trump's Ukraine call. For that, Trump had him removed from his National Security Council position. His brother was also fired, and Trump's allies questioned his loyalty to America. Vindman's military career was effectively ended because he honored his oath to the Constitution. And let's not forget how Trump treated John Bolton, his own former national security advisor. The moment Bolton indicated he might testify or write a book revealing unflattering information, Trump threatened him with criminal prosecution, claimed Bolton's book contained classified information, and sicsed the Justice Department on him to block publication. Even Mitt Romney, a sitting Republican senator who voted to convict Trump during impeachment, faced censure from his own state party and constant attacks from Trump. Romney required security protection due to threats from Trump supporters. His crime was voting his conscience based on the evidence. Now it looks like FBI agents who simply executed legal search warrants or conducted authorized investigations are in the crosshairs, with documented plans for systematic retaliation. The pattern is unmistakable. Trump treats any investigation, any accountability, any opposition as a personal betrayal that demands revenge. So, what specifically does Trump's document propose for these FBI agents? Let's break it down because the details are chilling. According to legal experts who reviewed the leaked portions, the planned actions fall into several categories. First, there are the immediate administrative actions. Trump's document indicates he plans to revoke security clearances for everyone on the list within days of taking office. For FBI agents and prosecutors, losing your clearance means you can't do your job. You're immediately sidelined, effectively fired without the protections of civil service. The document also discusses reassigning agents to undesirable posts. One notation suggests sending agents to remote field offices in what Trump apparently calls punishment assignments. Anchorage, Alaska is mentioned specifically. The goal is to make staying with the FBI so miserable that agents resign voluntarily. Now, here's the kicker. The document goes beyond administrative harassment into criminal territory. Multiple entries reference criminal referrals or appointing a special counsel to investigate the investigators. Trump's plan apparently includes having his Attorney General open criminal investigations into FBI agents for civil rights violations, abuse of power, and what the document calls conspiracy against a president. Legal experts told MSNBC that these charges would almost certainly fail in court. FBI agents executing valid warrants approved by federal judges aren't committing crimes. But Trump doesn't need convictions. The process is the punishment. Criminal investigations are expensive, career-destroying, and terrifying even if they ultimately go nowhere. According to Andrew Weissman, former FBI general counsel, the document suggests Trump understands exactly how to use the legal system as a weapon against individuals. This leaves current FBI leadership in an extraordinarily difficult position. On one side, they need to maintain FBI independence and protect their agents from political retaliation. The FBI is supposed to investigate crimes regardless of who's in power. Agents need to know they can do their jobs without fear of partisan revenge. On the flip side, they have to prepare for the possibility that Trump wins and actually implements these plans. Do they warn agents? Do they destroy records that might identify who worked on Trump cases? Do they encourage early retirements? The tricky part is there's no good precedent for this situation. So FBI leadership is caught in a bind. They can either stay silent and pretend this is normal campaign rhetoric, which means failing to protect their people from documented threats and leaving agents vulnerable if Trump wins. Or they can speak out publicly about the threat, which means the FBI looks like it's interfering in an election and gives Trump ammunition to claim the FBI is biased against him. It's a mess entirely of Trump's making, but the FBI has to navigate it. This whole scenario is causing panic throughout the federal law enforcement community. If Trump can target FBI agents with impunity, every federal employee who might investigate or oppose him is potentially at risk. According to ProPublica's reporting, FBI agents are quietly consulting with attorneys about their legal exposure. Some are considering early retirement. Others are documenting their actions meticulously to defend against future accusations. The FBI Agents Association, which represents current and former agents, issued a rare public statement expressing concern about political targeting of law enforcement. That's significant because the association typically stays out of political controversies. Meanwhile, civil liberties organizations are sounding alarms about what this means for the rule of law. The ACLU noted that presidents using the justice system to punish political enemies is textbook authoritarianism. They're preparing legal challenges if Trump actually implements these plans. Things became even more intense when Trump responded to the leak not by denying the list exists, but by defending it. On Truth Social, Trump posted that people who weaponize the FBI against him should absolutely face consequences, and that this is about justice, not revenge. He claimed these agents are criminals who violated his rights and destroyed evidence. Legal experts immediately noted that Trump's public statements confirming the list's existence and defending its purpose could be used as evidence in future witness intimidation cases. Legal and constitutional scholars are noting that what Trump is proposing would fundamentally damage American democracy. Professor Lawrence Tribe from Harvard Law School appeared on MSNBC and stated that using presidential power to prosecute individuals for conducting lawful investigations is one of the clearest examples of authoritarian abuse of power. He noted that this crosses every line that separates democratic governance from dictatorship. Former Attorney General Eric Holder added on CNN that the independence of federal law enforcement is essential to the rule of law. If agents believe they'll face criminal prosecution for investigating whoever is in power, the entire system of accountability collapses. No future president could be held accountable for anything because no agent would risk investigating. Andrew McCabe, former FBI deputy director who was himself fired by Trump, told CBS that this list represents Trump's blueprint for destroying the FBI's independence. McCabe explained that career agents are nonpartisan professionals who investigate crimes regardless of politics. Creating a climate of fear, where agents face retaliation for doing their jobs, means future investigations will be corrupted by political considerations. So, let's break down what this could mean. Because it's not just about Donald Trump seeking revenge. It has serious consequences for democratic institutions and the rule of law. First up is the immediate impact on federal law enforcement. If Trump wins and implements even part of these plans, the FBI will be fundamentally compromised. Agents will be afraid to investigate anyone connected to Trump or his allies. That means potential crimes go uninvestigated and powerful people escape accountability. The chilling effect extends beyond Trump cases. Any agent working on sensitive political investigations will know that future administrations might target them for retribution. That fundamentally changes how federal law enforcement operates. Before today, agents could trust that doing their job properly protected them. After Trump's plans become public, that's no longer certain. Now, let's touch on what this means for democratic norms. The peaceful transfer of power depends on the losing side accepting the results and not using government power to punish the winners. Trump's list violates that fundamental principle. He's promising to use presidential power to destroy the careers and lives of people who investigated him legally. Legal experts note this is exactly how democracies die. When the justice system becomes a tool for political revenge rather than blind justice, you no longer have rule of law. You have rule by whoever controls the enforcement apparatus. Looking ahead to the political implications, this should be disqualifying for any presidential candidate. Openly planning to weaponize the justice system against individual federal agents isn't a policy disagreement. It's a direct threat to constitutional governance. Yet, according to recent polling, this revelation hasn't significantly moved Trump's support among Republican voters. Many see it as justified payback for what they perceive as FBI persecution of Trump. So, here's the deal. Donald Trump is maintaining a secret enemies list of FBI agents he plans to target for retribution if he returns to power, and that list just leaked to the media. The document contains specific plans to revoke clearances, launch criminal investigations, and systematically destroy the careers of federal law enforcement officers whose only crime was investigating him legally. This isn't just about one vengeful candidate. It's about whether American democracy can survive a president who views the justice system as a weapon to punish enemies rather than an institution that enforces laws equally. When presidential candidates openly plan to prosecute investigators and maintain enemies lists, we're not talking about normal political competition. We're talking about authoritarian governance. If Trump faces no consequences for maintaining this list, if he actually wins and implements these plans, then we're basically saying there are no limits on presidential abuse of power. That would mean any future president can destroy the careers of anyone who investigates them, ensuring permanent immunity from accountability. It's about so much more than just Trump's grudges. It's about whether federal law enforcement can remain independent, whether career civil servants can do their jobs without fear of political retaliation, and whether the rule of law means anything at all when the president views himself as above it. So, keep an eye on this. The election is approaching and voters need to understand what's actually at stake. Trump has told us exactly what he plans to do. The list exists. The plans are documented. The only question is whether American voters will give him the power to implement them. The stakes have never been higher, the threat to democratic institutions never more explicit, and the choice never more clear.